Hello everybody and welcome back for some weekly VR news. As always, I'm Mateo311 and this is your channel for everything VR related. I'm actually pretty shocked that right after going over so many new games from Gamescom, I already have a news video with plenty of additional gaming information. On top of that, Pico was also at Gamescom, so I have a little bit to say about their brand new headset. Now there are of course links and timestamps if you want to skip ahead, but before we jump in, this video is brought to you by my sponsor, Kiwi Design. Kiwi has accessories for all of your favorite headsets, and they finally started releasing some new products for the Quest 3. On screen we have their brand new extra comfy Quest 3 Elite strap. I've been using head straps from Kiwi for years now, and they're hands down my favorite. There's a link to Kiwi down in the description, and don't forget to use discount code Mateo311 for 5% off and to help support my channel. Okay, so let's start this video off like normal with the check-in, and that's what exactly have I been up to in the VR world. And if you follow the channel, you guys know I just got back from Gamescom. It was absolutely amazing. It was video games all day, party all night. You know, not much more to say about that. If you haven't seen my coverage, I highly recommend it. It was just fantastic. Now, on top of that, right now, I'm working on my Batman video. Yep, that embargo will be ending very soon, and I'll tell you all about it. I actually have a little bit more information than the vast majority of other content creators out there. Can't talk about that just yet, but just stay tuned for my Batman video. It should answer every single question you have. And that's it for the check-in. Let's get to the game news. So first up, we have a very interesting hand-tracked flight simulator called Flight 74. Now, this game previously released on pcvr, and one of the main aspects that sets this game apart from other flight simulators is the fact that this game features a full single-player campaign where you've crash-landed on an island and you're now being forced to run missions for the cartel. Now, the Steam reviews for this game were mostly positive, but it doesn't look like many people have played it, so hopefully that will change when it drops on the Quest this week. Now, the only other game I have on my list of new releases is Containment Initiative 2. This is yet another zombie shooter. However, the game does come with the unique feature of being able to play co-op on one single PC. So someone will be rocking the VR headset, while the other player gets the good old-fashioned keyboard and mouse setup. I love the idea, and it sounds great if you have some real-life friends, but I don't, so I won't be using this feature. Now, the developer was kind enough to give me a bunch of keys to his original game and this new title dropping, so just go ahead and use the link in the description to join my Discord, as I'm randomly throwing these keys out. And that's currently all I have on the list for this week's new releases. However, I wanted to talk about two titles that I tested at Gamescom that didn't make it into my big roundup video. They actually didn't give me like one of the super cool USB sticks of my gameplay footage that basically everyone else did, and because of that, I just forgot to include them. So the first game is All On Board, a board game title, and let's get into that. All On Board is planning to be your ultimate tabletop simulator. They're working to license as many titles as possible and deliver a perfect one-to-one recreation of these games. Now, as it stands, they currently have 6 separate titles. This includes Rallyman GT, Escape the Dark Castle, The Hunger, Terraforming Mars, Istanbul, and The Binding of Isaac. Now, there's also another 5 board games coming soon, and they're actively working to release a lot more games. Now, I did get a 30 or so minute demo, and I thought it was done really well. The controls felt right. Every single environment changed based on the game you were playing. You know, everything looked true to life. They had a lot of mechanics that helped the fact that this is not the real life. Like, so you don't have to lean over, constantly pick up a card and bring it to your face and read it. So you could basically like hover over and get a pop-up at a distance. So that was a really nice feature. I thought it was done really well. The only problem was I tried Escape the Dark Castle and another title, and both of which I just weren't familiar with. So I couldn't tell you how well it was emulated and just overall how much fun it was compared to playing on an actual board game. It seemed good. They told me it's one-to-one, but I just have to take their word for it. And I was just hoping for a game that I knew and loved already. Otherwise, though, it has tons of potential and can't wait to see what other games they release. Now, the other title at Gamescom that I demoed was Band Space. This is basically a Rock Band clone in VR. I jumped in and played some songs with Nacy, which made the experience even better. And I demoed all of the instruments, which included drums, guitar, bass, and keyboard. Ultimately, the game felt really solid. Graphically, everything was really nice. You could customize your character. Mechanically, everything worked well and all of the instruments felt different. And my only concern was their song listing, as they don't have a lot of licensed music just yet. You can, however, create custom tracks and import stuff from the community. So I do expect there'll be a ton of playable music, and if you wanted something like the Rock Band games in VR, well then this is definitely your title. Now, before I jump into all the new game announcements and release dates that we just received, I just want to mention the new trailer for Batman Arkham Shadow. Like I said, I'm releasing a full video on this game in the very near future, but I'm just curious to see what the overall reaction is. If you haven't watched the trailer, go watch it now and let me know what you think about it down in the description. I just love hearing people's first impressions and then coming back and comparing them to when people have actually tried the product. Do you think there's going to be a bait and switch here? How does it look graphically and mechanically to you? Just go ahead and drop anything you think about it down in the comments right now. Now, when it comes to new announcements, Hotel R&R Rockstar Simulator is coming to the Quest next month. This is once again an older VR title that's being ported to the Quest, and what originally made this game quite appealing was its physics-based destruction. You basically go through a series of different scenarios, destroying everything in sight. So go ahead and live that Rockstar life, not only trashing your hotel room, but everything else in sight. Now, I never tried the original game, but it looks like this could be quite fun and a bit cathartic. Now, we also found out that Train Sim World VR New York is coming soon to the Quest, and I really don't know what to say about this game. I understand there's a market for truck simulator, train simulator, plane simulator, you name it, but I've never personally truly understood the appeal. Regardless of how I feel, if you enjoy all things trains and you're looking for realism, Train Sim World caters to you. There's multiple different MTA vehicles for you to hop into, and you could drive all the way from Grand Central Station up north to the White Plains. So train fans, go ahead and rejoice. This game is coming in the near future. Now, another new game announcement comes from the developers of Gorilla Tag. This is an ambitious new project that plans to allow up to 200 players in a single area. Orion Drift has you taking on the role of robots that were once Earth's premier athletes, and now you're all in one giant space station, engaging in a large array of different activities. The title promises massive gatherings and huge events, plus there'll be an extensive amount of customization for your robot. Honestly, this sounds pretty crazy, and it looks like they're not only trying to target the Gorilla Tag audience, but also all of those who are missing Echo Arena. I'll definitely keep my eye on this game and see how it develops. Now, moving on from new game announcements, we just got plenty of new release dates. The rhythm-based Journey Through Hell shooter, Metal Hellsinger, is dropping next month on September 26th. Now, I did play through some of the demo and was absolutely loving it. Great graphics, plenty of action, and rock music. Honestly, I don't ask for much more. Now, I do love games with deep stories and plenty of mechanics, but when it comes to VR, I also really enjoy action-packed games that you could just jump into for 30 minutes at a time and boost your adrenaline. But if shooters aren't for you and you're a PlayStation VR2 owner, you're getting the absolutely fantastic platformer Max Mustard in October. I played through this game on Quest and thoroughly enjoyed it. Now, it wasn't quite as good as Morse or Astrobot Rescue Mission, but it was a very close second, and if you're a platformer fan rocking a PlayStation VR2, I highly recommend you pick up this game. Now, another title also releasing in October is Gundam Silver Phantom. The beloved anime is making its first foray into XR, and the game will feature both VR and MR modes. Now, it looks like this is going to be an interactive anime storyline, and honestly, I'm all for that. Immersive storytelling is just so much better in VR, and I've been begging for someone to make an anime series. So I'm really hoping they're able to pull this one off. Now, it looks like there's also some mixed reality mini games where you get to hold a Gundam suit in your hand and fly around, but I don't have much information on that just yet. Now, if everything I mentioned in this video today has been just too casual for you, you're like, come on, where are the real games? Well, guess what? We got the release dates for both Alien Rogue Incursion and Skydance's Behemoth. So those are some big games. So let's get into those right now. The story-driven, physics-based combat game where you fight giant monstrosities, Skydance's Behemoth, is coming on November 14th. I just recently spoke about this game in my Gamescom video, and I also have a full breakdown of their original demo. This is definitely going to be a solid title. Just imagine that awesome combat from The Walking Dead Saints and Sinners, but now instead of just being a regular guy who's constantly outnumbered and gets tired quite often, you're basically a super-powered being. So you'll be blasting through plenty of enemies, feeling fully empowered, until of course you meet some of those behemoths and get humbled a couple times. Now, the next title, Alien Rogue Incursion, I have a lot less information on, but it also looks like it's shaping up really good. Aesthetically, it looks like it matches the Alien franchise perfectly. There's supposedly a nice combination of stealth and action, and of course a good amount of horror as you get hunted down by xenomorphs and facehuggers alike. Now, this title's not releasing until December 19th, so hopefully we'll make it through all the other awesome games like Behemoth, Batman, and Metro Awakening before this game is officially available. Now, finally, I just want to discuss the Pico 4 Ultra a little bit, because it was present at Gamescom. Now, personally, I only got to see it. I didn't get to demo it because I was just so busy trying all the VR games. However, my roommate from the experience, sadly it's Bradley, did try it out, and I just, grilled him for some details, and he wasn't overly positive. Pico's basically doing what they normally do. They're taking Meta's current generation product, aka the Quest 3, and just upgrading it slightly. Processor-wise, it's still the same Snapdragon XR2 Gen 2, but it includes some extra RAM and some additional specs that either meet or slightly surpass the Quest 3. Now, personally, I really loved the Pico 4. My only issue was, I don't know why I need this headset. The Quest 3 is actually better. It has a better processor. Now, that's been resolved with the Pico 4 Ultra. However, when I have a standalone headset, what sets it apart is the fact that it gets exclusive titles, and Pico wasn't getting anything. So they're pretty much both just as good for pcvr, and I get more bang for my buck with the Quest 3 because it's cheaper, still works with the PC, and I get exclusives. So I never had a reason to buy the Pico 4, even though I owned one and really liked it. And now I don't feel like there's a reason to buy the Pico 4 Ultra unless you just absolutely hate Meta. That's my only reasoning. It's just like, I refuse to do Meta. I'm going to get something different. Because Pico, has pulled back from the VR industry. They're not spending money on exclusives. And I scratch my head as to why you would want this headset. It's good. It's solid. I also heard that the overall user interface is going in a different direction than what Meta's working on, which actually isn't bad. Meta's UI is getting better over time, but it's historically been really crappy. So to see someone go in a different direction, I salute that. We'll see how it turns out. But again, I just don't know why you'd pick up a Pico 4 Ultra. And that was today's video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, you know what to do. Thumbs up. If you're new here, please consider subscribing. I always love hearing your feedback down in the comments, and I will see you guys on next time.